Hi, welcome back to the channel. I'm Michelle, and this entire week I'm going to be showing you my planning. So we do a Sabbath schedule, so we do 6 weeks on, 1 week off. It's not always exactly 6 weeks. Sometimes it's 7 weeks, sometimes it's less. But I'm going to show you how I prep during that week off. So for that week off, we don't have school. I do lesson planning, printing, copying, all those things I can take care of now that will make those 6 weeks run a lot smoother. So in this video, I'm going to be specifically doing work that needs to be prepared for my first grader who is 6 years old. And there are some things that require printing and copying, and it's a little more time consuming for her. So I do hers in her own little chunk of time. So my 3-year-old is napping now, so hopefully we have a good hour to work with here, but I will show you, hopefully it doesn't take me that long. I will show you how I prep for the next 6 weeks for her. I've obviously done everything for my 4th grader. That's a previous video. Now I'm going to be working on things for my 1st grader. So I have to do her math. Anything with a W is something I prep for on a weekly basis. So I will not be doing 6 weeks of math. I will not be doing 6 weeks of all about reading. I just do those usually on a Saturday and Sunday. I prep for the next week ahead. But as you can see, this highlighted part here is all things that will need to be prepped for that 6 or 7 weeks that we are on for school. So the first thing I'm going to do is the Core Knowledge Handwriting Skills K. I need to print some of those for her. Now, she is 1st grade level work, but because she's doing all about reading level 2, I only use the skills practice in Core Knowledge for handwriting or phonics practice. I don't use it for instruction. So I'm going to show you how I go about printing that. So here's the Core Knowledge website. I just went to download curriculum, kindergarten, language arts. So again, these are the listening and learning. So this is reading comprehension, story elements, things like that. What I have her doing is the skills portion of that, which is she's on unit 6. So you have your teacher guide, your student workbook, your readers. Again, she's not doing this for phonics instruction. She's just doing for handwriting practice and phonics review. So I will go to the student book, download it, and you can see here it comes up. So I will just go to, so she is here, page 30. So this is the last one she did. So I will just print probably, I don't know, 10 to 12 pages of this just so she has practice work to do. Good to go, so I can check that off. I did want to mention that I do keep track of where I am in this. So this is her winter to spring schedule. You can see down here, Core Knowledge Skills Unit 6 ended on page 30 previously. So I will write, she actually just finished Unit 6, so the next time I go to print, I will print from Unit 7. So that way I remember which one she's done. So next I'm going to making some copies from our Journeys practice book, and again I have a kind of flip through and how I plan on using the Trophies and Journeys books that I will link above if you want to see. But I'm just going to copy some pages for her to work on, and so she can decide if she wants to do Core Knowledge Handwriting Skills or she can do the Journeys Phonics Handwriting Practice book. It's up to her, but I do like to have a good assortment from each of those to choose from. So now I need to make some copy of those. All right, so the Core Knowledge, Kindergarten Skills, Handwriting, and Phonics is printed. I'm literally just sticking this in an old handwriting workbook she had. Nothing fancy, it's not in any particular order. Again, I'm using it as phonics practice and handwriting practice, so I don't care if it's in order. She can choose what she wants. So for the Journeys, I printed some of those out, or I copied some of those from the practice book, which is, Trophies, from the Trophies practice book. I copied some of those, I hole punched them, and now I need to put them in this folder. This is just a 3-prong folder that has all of her work for the Trophies books. So I will just add it to the back of this. While I'm doing that, I'm going to actually switch out the books that are in her holder. So these are just the IKEA, they're not even the plastic ones, they're the cardboard ones. They've lasted literally years. I did put a long time ago when this was in my craft room, when my youngest was little, I did put some wallpaper on it to make it match the pattern of the room for the craft room. But this has held up really well, but all of their stuff is kept in here. So I'm going to switch out. Last week she did journeys, which means this next week she's going to be doing the story from trophies. Again, check out that video if you want to see how I'm incorporating that, but that will go in there for the next week. And then I have her folder of core knowledge language arts. And like I said, with my 4th grader, I will go through her worksheets that she's done and pick out a few for her portfolio. For example, this is one she did on astronomy that I turned really cool. So I have the date there. Her name is on that rocket, so I just covered it up. We did a solar system study, so I will keep that. And then the last thing she drew for astronomy, because this was a booklet, was she did Our Family on the Moon. So I will keep that just more for nostalgia than actual record keeping, but I did think it turned out nice. I will just go through this stack she's done really quick and see what things I want to keep and what things I want to toss. That way at the end of the year, I don't have a ton of papers. For example, I'm going to keep this one. And I do, when she's doing these worksheets, I do put the dates on them so I don't have to think about it later. So that's what I'm going to keep from hers, just the astronomy and a little bit from earth science. And that will go in her portfolio, the rest recycling. And then I will get the next unit ready that we're going to do, which requires going on to core knowledge again. Again, just went to download curriculum. I'm going to go down to language arts. And again, she's using the listening and learning strand from 1st grade and skills from kindergarten. So these are the different units we've worked on. So we just finished animals and habitats. I already have fairy tales printed in her folder, so I don't have to worry about that. So I will print these two, A New Nation, American Independence, and Frontier Explorers. I will print these two, and as you can see after that, it starts going into the skills, which we're not doing the skills for 1st grade yet. So I'm going to print these 2 units out, and I'll show you what I print really quick. So I have the teacher guides already downloaded on my Samsung tablet. So I'll need to make sure that this flip book is on her Amazon Fire tablet, because I don't remember if the last 2 units are on there or not. I will check for that. But the worksheets or the handouts that you find will be in the teacher guide at the very end. So if you scroll all the way to the bottom. All right, so this would be the teacher resources. So we have a map. So I will go ahead and download this and start printing these sections. One of the things I'm going to also be doing is printing this and going through and checking a couple that our library might have. I do like incorporating picture books into this. There's also family resources, websites, different things like that that you can use. So I will take a quick glance at those, but it looks like mostly maps I'll be printing for this unit. All right, so I finished that up. I have all the units for core knowledge printed out. The worksheets that go along with it, I also went through and highlighted what my library has for the books for both the units I just printed. I also wrote notes if the call numbers and things like that to make it easier. I also have it saved on my library list. You can make a list on your library page, and I will just reference that when I need it. I also put a note here to watch the YouTube resources mentioned in that. So you can see core knowledge does take a little bit of prep work, but for the next 7 weeks, I won't have to do any of this. I will literally just be able to open and go, but I did put a little work in before. So that's going in her core knowledge folder. I went ahead and filed her language arts for this past 6 weeks in here. So next for her, I'm going to work on All About Reading 2, and then I will do math. So all I'm going to do for that is, I've shown in previous videos, so I'm going to just label Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, when we're going to be doing it. I do keep this from Handwriting Without Tears in her math, when she's doing her math, in case she forgets how to form a number. I will just go through and write Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we do a lesson one day and she does the text, or we do the textbook lesson one day and then the next day she does the workbook lesson. For that is labeled, I will go through the teacher guide and decide if there's any activities I want, or a picture book that I want to do. So for example, the subtraction story, she is really good when it comes to addition, subtraction, number bonds, mental math. So if it doesn't benefit her, I'm not going to do it. Then it just becomes busy work. So like illustrating number bonds and things like that, she doesn't need that in-depth practice. So I will look through here. So for example, I like this game where it's, or this one down here, where it's making different subtraction equations. Now you could print out the Black Line Masters that's provided on Singapore Dimensions Math on their website, but I'm just going to take, we have the magnetic numbers with the symbols, addition, subtraction, equal sign. I'll just have her do it on that board and make her own equations that way, and that'll be a quick activity she does, because I think that is something she will actually benefit from. So I will look to see what lesson that is. That's lesson 6. So I will come over here. And on lesson 6, I will just make a note on the top that she needs to do equation game. And that is on, I'll write the page number so I can reference the instructions for it. But that is all I have to do for her math. Finished math. Again, that's just done on a weekly basis, All About Reading. I didn't have to do anything. So everything is prepped for the next 7 weeks. For my first grader, everything will be open and go. No prep work really for me. So the next video will be our group work and how I prep that.